Hi guys, I'm Sean. This is Alyssa. Gus is in our hearts, and this is Internet Rabbit Hole Daily. Here we are, folks. We are reacting to more content about Independence Day. Yes, we are way behind for Independence Day 76th anniversary, but we're way ahead on the 77th one. Look, we're like a year ahead practically. I'm just teasing, but we did want to acknowledge Independence Day, even though we're late. So happy Independence Day, folks. We're going to be checking out a video by Gravitas Plus. I like these guys because they always tell it straight, especially this gal. She's always so tough as nails.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Actually, usually she's like coming down hard on people. I have a feeling in this segment, she's actually just going to be celebrating accomplishments, which is kind of a new thing, I think, from this gal. Usually I see her getting, tough at others, but so we're going to check this one out. And as I understand it, I think we're going to go through 7 sort of major achievements that have occurred since 1946,
and
was
this
it?
is from the Wion Network. Is that how you say it?
Is it 46 or 47?
47th what?
I'm looking for Indian independence. I want to get that right.
Independence what?
What year it was.
For what?
For Indian independence. I said the date. I just want to make sure that I'm getting it right. 47. Okay. Not 46, 47. Gotcha.
1947.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Not that it, you guys already knew that. That was more for me. All right. So let's check this out.
It's the eve of India's 76th birthday.
Oh, okay.
75 years ago, at midnight,
Oh,
India
is this
made
new?
a tryst
Yeah.
with destiny. An independent India was born.
Oh, because they're not including this year. They're going.
Yeah, they're going from
The
like
75th
this
year
backwards.
just ended.
Yeah. Okay.
Now-
All right. So we're
and we're
way
on-
on top.
Oh, okay.
Just yeah.
Let's
We're
just
good.
start it over again.
It's the eve of India's 76th birthday. 75 years ago,
Oh,
at
they
midnight,
posted it
India made
before
a
the-
tryst with destiny. An independent India was born. It was
God, what a
drained,
moment that must have been
divided,
to
but desperate
to
make
bring
it
that
on its
flag
own.
up for the first time.
Whoa.
How has the journey been so far? Tonight, we look at India's achievements at 75, the success stories at 75. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus.
I actually got to say, just a real quick diversion is I do want to do some sort of reaction on the flag and the imagery and the symbolism within it. Because it's
The
got
meaning behind it.
yeah, because we've got the different colors and we've got that particular shape in the center.
The
And-
wheel?
yeah,
With like.
yeah, it's
the
like almost got like
spo-
different
what is it called?
spokes or
Spokes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna have to
That'd
be
be
another
really cool.
avenue of exploration. Maybe suggest one for us, guys.
Palki Sharma Upadhyay. There's so much to talk about. It's been a stupendous journey of 75 years. We decided to start with the economy.
Ooh,
The British Crown looted $45 trillion from India. From raw materials to the Kohinoor diamond, the British took all.
which I think they still
They also
have.
exploited all. The thumbs of Indian
Haven't given
weavers
it
were
back.
cut off. Indian peasants were crushed. The brightest jewel in the British crown was left with the prospect of a dim future. Britain deindustrialized India. At the time of independence, India's per capita income was 230 rupees. That's $2.89. The average income was 1/15th of what an average American earned.
Whoa.
There was poverty, hunger. The task before India was to lift itself, and it did. There was rapid industrialization, 3 successful revolutions,
Wow.
green, white, and blue.
Oh.
India opened itself to the world, globalized its economy,
I'd heard of the
privatized
green
its
one.
banks. 75 years later, India is one of the world's leading economies. From less than $3, India's per capita income has grown to almost 2,000. Its
That's a
share in the world
significant
GDP
increase.
is 3.28%. 7 decades back, India was an
no.
import.
Our screen's going black for no reason.
Its share in the world GDP is 3.28%. 7 decades back, India was an import-dependent country. Today, more and more global companies are making in India, and Indian companies are making a mark globally. India is becoming a force to reckon with in more ways than one. Which brings us to geopolitics. India successfully navigated the Cold War. It became a political force for decolonization. India liberated Bangladesh.
They
It reached out to
liberated
Africa,
Bangladesh.
successfully dehyphenated Israel and Palestine, stuck strategic partnerships with the Gulf. India isolated Pakistan. When India and Pakistan had a dogfight, the world supported India. When Pakistan tried to make an issue out of Kashmir, the world again supported India. Today, world powers see India as an important partner, a leading voice in multilateral forums, the face of peace, the loudest cheerleader of counter-terrorism. Of course, the journey has not been easy. Right after independence, India made some bad decisions, like letting go of a Security Council seat. Then there were security challenges. 1948, Pakistan's incursion into Kashmir. 1962, the war with China. 1999, the war in Kargil. The
know a bit
current
about the
standoff
Kargil
in
War, of
Ladakh.
course.
But on every such occasion, India showed
Why
the
were they
world
at war
that
with
it's
China?
capable
I
of
wanna know about
defending
that one.
itself, capable of resisting any attempt to redraw its map. India has taught the world tolerance, universal acceptance, and none of it was easy. You may recognize this man, Winston Churchill, Britain's former Prime Minister. Churchill had dismissed India's experiment with self-governance. Why? Because India is socially diverse. 22 languages, 20,000 dialects.
Yeah, how do you
numerous
bring that
religions,
all together
numerous
under one
regions.
under one flag,
Churchill
under one
said,
roof?
Yeah.
Right?
India is merely a geographical expression.
But they've
It is
done
no
it.
more a single country than the equator. He was convinced that independent India won't be able to stay together. Well, Churchill was wrong. India remains united and grows stronger. Its success as a secular state has surprised many. Of course, there have been ups and downs. India survived a partition. The Babri Masjid demolition, the Operation Blue Star, it's what followed the Gujarat riots. But which country does not have rough patches,
Not
and
really
which
as
country
familiar with
can
those
claim
riots.
to be this diverse? In the initial years post-independence, it was tough keeping the country together. One of the big challenges was public health, or the lack of it. In 1947, the average life expectancy in India was 32 years.
Oh my
What?
There was
God.
rampant spread of communicable diseases like malaria and tuberculosis. In 1947, India registered 75 million cases of malaria. Its total population was 330 million. So
Holy
almost
hell.
23% of the population had malaria. By
Wow.
1964, the numbers came down.
By
Then there was
significant
polio.
margin.
Until early 1990s,
Oh, dear.
every day around 500 children were getting paralyzed. India fought polio and declared itself polio-free by 2014. Today, India's polio eradication is a case study of healthcare success for the world.
Certain
India
vaccines
also
are
eradicated
very important.
smallpox, and as we speak, India is running the world's largest vaccination.
Well, Bill Gates is India. They pushed out his vaccine.
Yeah, I don't know
in
what
there.
he was trying
Some
to
of
do
them.
there, but with things like smallpox, you don't want to mess around with it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So
but they were
good
talking
on
about
them
polio.
for targeting that as a priority, and you can only imagine how many lives it saved, and I can't
Yeah.
and how
Wasn't
much
smallpox
misery it's
was the
helped
first-
To,
Smallpox was the first like traditional vaccine they ever made. I thought
geez, or
Wasn't it?
that could be true.
it's
There's
at least
thinking
one
like
of the oldest.
tuberculosis, or I'm just so lucky
No,
that I
when they
live in an
figured-
era where we
they
don't
in-
have to worry about that.
When they invented it, I thought it was to treat smallpox.
could have been.
And they put like a thing because isn't there a thing called cowpox? It's like he took something of a I don't know skin of
Something-
a
I think it
cow
had
that
to
was
do with there was
infected
some
and
mold
put it in his
on,
nose.
like, was it some mold on a cheese? Was it penicillin or
What?
something? Even I
no,
don't know.
That's
Whatever.
not the smallpox. God.
Let's get back to this.
India's healthcare system is one of its biggest achievements. We hardly appreciate it because there's a lot that's not right. But when you look at where we started, the achievements look astounding. Around the time of independence, 2,000 mothers died for every 1 lakh childbirths. 2,000. Today that
Holy
number is down to
hell.
103.
Whoa.
Also look at the increase in life expectancy. It's over 100%.
Whoa.
This is one of the most important indicators of human development. Today, India is called the world's pharmacy. It exports medicines to 200 countries and regions.
They even exported, if I recall correctly, during COVID, some actual vaccines to Canada. If I recall correctly, there was actually a billboard put up that was perhaps thanking Modi for his generous friendship and offer to send those vaccines.
Another feather in the cap is technology. India decided to go to space just 17 years after independence.
Whoa.
It set up INCOSPAR, or Indian National Committee for Space Research. India's first rocket launch happened in
we've heard of ISRO.
1963 from a town called Thumba.
Or is it
The rocket
ISRO?
parts were transported on bicycles and bullock carts.
Tech issues. Sorry, guys. We need a new cord or something. The TV keeps going black that we're watching.
No. For those of us who saw us react to that Indian space video, I think we're going to see that bicycle with the rocket pack on the back of it. People were coming after you.
Is that when people like hated me or something?
I don't know. I can't
for
remember,
what?
but you made some sort of
For
comment
having-
about the
for
rocket
having
bike,
a
and people were like,
fantastical idea.
Yeah, you're like,
I was joking, I think. What did I
don't
say?
remember. I don't remember exactly.
Or
But
wasn't
they were
it
teasing you in the comments.
it wasn't like the rocket rollerblades or something?
Oh, I thought it was
Wasn't
the
it like
rocket bike, and you were like, "Oh,
it a
is
bike?
that like a rocket bike or something?" I can't remember what you said, but I think we see it here again. So, anyways, here we go.
Gosh.
The rocket parts were transported in
There's the
bicycles
rocket
and
bike, the
bush
guy
carts.
with the rocket.
Look at this photo. This is how India's space journey began.
I don't remember
Today
what I
in-
said. What
I
pissed
think,
people
I,
off?
I-
Like,
I think it's because
why
he's-
can't people
what they
have
were-
fun?
What they were saying for the space agency is that they actually sort of would bike parts from here to there, I believe. But you maybe thought that they had invented a rocket bike, and
no.
I think that was the
to go to space?
no,
No
not necessarily
way.
go to space, but maybe go
Honestly-
to the corner store a bit quicker. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Oh, wait. You mean that it's a normal bike?
Yeah.
I still thought just now, because it's got a
I know. He's,
metal thing in the
he's
back.
taking the rocket to the
I thought it was a bike that
place.
goes faster. Like, you know those cartoons or those show, like they
like
put
Wile E. Coyote or something.
yeah, they put little rockets on their rollerblades.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. That's a easy mix up. Like, why are people
Easy mistake,
got
guys.
their
You heard
panties
it
in
here
a
first.
twist? Like, oh my god, why would you think that? Well, come on. It looks like it's got friggin' rocket coming out of the back.
You can splice in some images of rocket bikes so people know what you're talking about, or maybe Wile E. Coyote with like the rollerblades.
How would
with
people
the
not know?
Smoke coming out the back.
I'm so if they're annoyed that I thought that, I'm annoyed that they have not heard of like rocket rollerblades and stuff.
All
like
right,
silly.
so tit for tat. Let's let's move along here.
India is a well-established space power. It has reached Mars. Today, India is unfurling the tricolour in space to mark 75 years of independence. Do you know India was also the first country outside the permanent UNSC members to test a nuclear bomb? And it did this despite the world's best efforts. Reports say the CIA killed an Indian scientist to roadblock the nuclear journey.
What?
The US had even deployed a satellite
I'm
of
missing
Indian
this.
science.
I don't
And it
know
did
what's
this
going on.
despite the world's best efforts. Reports say
They tested a nuclear weapon despite the fact that other people would have preferred that they didn't. It sounds like
What
the
about
States
killing a scientist?
went as far as to kill a scientist to maybe prevent them from doing this. But
Like they didn't want them to test their own nuclear things, and
Yeah, I
then they
guess-
tried to kill
I
the guy
think what
that
it was saying is that they
gonna
were the
test
first
it.
country outside of the United Nations Security Council that did.
So they were all
a
worried,
test.
and then they thought it'd be
I guess they thought they
okay,
could
morally
maybe.
okay to kill a scientist. But
Yeah.
even though,
CIA
meanwhile, they're blowing all up there doing their little tests.
It's
you
true.
know?
It's true.
killed an Indian scientist to roadblock the nuclear journey. The US had even deployed a satellite over India to spy.
Oh.
What?
So work on the nuclear test was
It's like
mostly
a house.
done
Yeah,
during
look at
the
a
night,
doghouse.
and equipment would be returned to the original place in the morning to evade detection by American satellites.
Oh,
Code names
they
were used. The thermonuclear
evaded
device,
it.
for example, was placed in a shaft named White House. On the 18th of May 1974, India took the world by surprise. It became a nuclear power. The operation was called Smiling Buddha.
Wow.
The
I didn't
director
know it
of
took the
India's
world by
Nuclear
surprise. I
Research
honestly
Institute,
didn't know that.
Raja Ramanna told the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, Buddha has smiled. How did India achieve all of this? 1. Democracy. 2. Literacy. From the very first day of independence, every adult in India had the right to vote. And just for reference, it took the US
Nice.
150 years of independence to adopt universal adult franchise. In the last 75 years, India's population has grown from 370 million to 1.4 billion. States have been reorganized, but the sanctity of elections has never been compromised. They're chaotic, yes, they're controversial, but they're held without fail every 5 years. Voters queue up in front of booths, some cast their vote, some vote
A
their
lot
card.
of
They
counting.
get
All
that
of
note,
them
that mark on
exercise
the
their
finger,
right.
right? So they can't vote
And there
twice.
have been dark periods, like the emergency in
Oh, what?
1970.
Do they get like henna?
Well,
Because
I,
henna takes like a long time to go away.
yeah, I don't believe it's 10. I
It's
think it
ink?
just might be. And in some
but couldn't
countries,
they wipe it off?
It doesn't come off like that, as I
Sounds
understand
like
it.
henna.
There's other countries that will actually, I believe, sort of dip their finger in ink, and then they've got sort of like the whole fingertip is a different color, just so that they can't vote more than once. Now, of course,
What
in
if people
Canada,
tried
we've
to
got,
put-
like, our IDs?
Have people
and,
tried to get Have they tried to? Sorry, I had to burp.
Have they? I'm
Have
sure
they tried
have.
to evade
Yeah.
detection by like putting on some
A
type of
fake
makeup?
finger?
Well,
Yeah.
what if they had like there's makeup that covers tattoos,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
black
yeah.
ink, and then they
Yeah.
like put it on their finger.
Or what
and
if-
they just check it? Like, are they gonna go and rub everyone's finger?
What if they vote once, dip their finger in ink, cut their finger off, and then are like, "Hey, yeah, no, I was born with like 4 fingers. Don't look into it."
Yeah,
Let me
you
now vote again."
could.
All right, okay, we're getting
But
into
they
silly
probably.
territory.
Do you think that's an extra precaution, and that they also have to have an ID
That's a
and
good
they register
question.
them? I'm sure they have to like.
And
also.
it may very well be different in different regions in India.
Unless
I
that
suspect that's the
gives
case.
more people an opportunity to vote, like people who don't have an ID, or there's a lot of poverty in India,
Sure,
so
sure,
maybe it's
yeah.
like they get more
Yeah, it's
votes,
sort
they
of
get
like-
more opportunity to
Yeah,
people
like
to
she
vote.
said, everyone has the right to vote. And I also, the
Yeah.
one thing I like about it too is that it's a visual marker that you've participated in a democratic act. And so I would be walking around very proud of my ink-stained finger, right?
Then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was facing protests. Her future in office was uncertain, so she declared a 22-month-long emergency. Democratic institutions were attacked, politicians were locked up, the press was
That's
censored.
not 2 years almost.
But it
Whoa.
did not last. And that's the thing about India's story. It's far from perfect. There's corruption, there's inefficiency, and everything else that we keep complaining about. Yet, India's democracy has delivered. It has alleviated poverty, built world-class infrastructure, and sent Indians to space, to win gold medals and beauty pageants, and to lead the world's biggest companies. Literacy has played an important role here. When India became independent, 4 out of 5 people could
Whoa.
not read. The literacy rate was around 12%.
Wow.
For India to grow, it had to educate its people. It made free education a fundamental right. Schemes like Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan and midday meal ensured that children found their way to schools. India expanded its educational infrastructure. In 1947, India had only 28 medical schools, 4 dental colleges, and 33
Wow, you can just see
engineering
just by an
colleges. Look at the
order of
numbers today.
magnitude.
The
Wow.
India
Wow.
that
33 to
neither read nor
6,000.
write is now the world's biggest
They got
talent
shit
pool.
done.
Top
Yeah,
no
engineers,
kidding, eh?
doctors, Indian origin CEOs all bear testimony to India's growth and transformation.
India invented
Today's India is
Wi-Fi.
home to 1.4
A guy
billion
from India.
people. It is progressive, yet rooted in its culture and values. It is home to the world's youngest population, the world's largest democracy, the world's largest film industry, the world's
Yeah.
largest diaspora population, the second largest road network, a leader in climate action, a market that every company wants to enter, and a strategic force that every government wants to partner. Today, as India celebrates its historical achievements, it also has a clear vision of the future. This is India at 75.
Ooh.
What does diaspora mean again? Diaspora population?
I think what they mean by that is a very diverse population with different languages and in
Right.
different regions. That's
like the biggest
I'm thinking what they're meaning.
diverse like population made up
Yeah.
of diverse
Well, like they were
cultures
saying,
and languages
Winston
and-
Churchill
yeah,
was sort of
it's
like,
so
well, how are
diverse.
they going to keep this all together? It's impossible. But obviously he was proved wrong, and India is firing on all cylinders. I was actually just thinking the other day how grateful I am that, for example, or that India is so democratic and that they allow companies like YouTube to come in and set up shop. Because if it wasn't for YouTube, if it wasn't for that openness, we wouldn't have an opportunity to, hang out with you guys all the time. So it's been a good thing. Jay, so now we know a little bit more about India. If they keep going at this rate, in another 20 years, they're going to be living to like 140 years old. It's going to be like the average life expectancy.
That's just crazy how they flip things around.
Yeah.
Like so fast. And I'm sure we've watched videos about like how was India even taken over by the British?
Ooh.
Because there's
Yeah.
the British then like infiltrated and everything, and then I don't know, we've seen partition and stuff like that, or like when they became independent, but have we even watched that much about like initially
we've seen
what happened, like how that even happened?
We've seen little bits here and there, but we have yet to watch a video that's specific to that topic. So
Well, what's interesting too is because like when the British ended up coming to North America, they saw what's the correct term now? Aboriginal
First Nations people?
Okay, it keeps changing what's politically
Probably First Nations.
correct.
Yep.
Fun fact, my grandma got full status before she passed away, so I'm super white, but I applied to get status, so feel not really worthy of it, but my ancestors would have wanted me to make up for whatever happened. Anyways, yeah, in Canada you get certain
Privileges.
medical,
Or not
like I don't
privileges.
have
I
a
don't wanna
dental
say
plan.
privileges. They're
I'll get like a dental
compensation
plan.
for
I'll get
the
some compensations, whatever.
evils of the
Anyways,
past.
anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. My whole roundabout thing was Christopher Columbus. Like when he saw Native Canadians, I guess,
Yeah.
Native Americans.
He thought he was in India.
He called. That's why they got this connotation of like Indian, which is interesting because we still use the term Indian status, but it's considered kind of offensive
to call
to
a First Nations person Indian. Yeah, that's right.
But the card that I'm gonna get and everything, it's literally labeled as like when I had to apply, they still name it
Yeah.
Indian status, which
And
is
there's-
so weird.
And I've also
Guys,
heard
I'm gonna
of-
be Indian. No,
there you go.
not. But yeah, it's like, so the British had already taken over India by that point, you'd think, unless they just knew of that. Or yeah, it's like was he trying to get to India?
Yeah, I mean, they
And it's
knew
like
about
he
India. I'm
thought
sure
he
they were,
came-
maybe he was trying to get some spices or something.
He
I'm
thought
not
he
so
had
sure.
landed in India, but it wasn't, and then he started calling them Indians.
Well,
and
let's-
then, so
let's-
at some time it was
Let's
near
put
the
it
same
out
time
there into the universe. I think these guys might have a suggestion for us. You know, what is a good starting point to understand how exactly,
unpack.
yeah, India was taken over?
Because there was
and,
other British colonies too in other places, and
There's a
like
lot to
South
get
Africa,
into.
right? Is another type of British colony.
I mean, Canada.
yeah,
but,
Canada, but well,
I
yeah,
have
that's the
got
North American
to
story.
get to work. So we're going to have to
Okay.
wrap this one up and join you guys
We're
again
getting
to
off
dig
task.
into even more of these details. Once again, happy Independence Day. Sorry we are a little belated. We're going to work extra hard for next year. We love you guys a whole lot. Make sure to, if you want to see more content from us, that is, like,
Click the subscribe button, click the like, choose the bell,
thumbs up, all of that
everything,
good
all
stuff.
the good stuff. Okay,
Love you guys. This is Internet Rebel Daily RH signing off.
bye.
Bye.